Manx Radio Podcasts, powered by Shaw.
Hello and welcome to this week's Countryside Podcast, John, and we're looking back at a pretty successful couple of days at the Royal Manx just to follow a very successful Southern show.
I think many would say, Simon, that was one of the most successful shows we've had for some time. The weather was perfect, the venue was perfect, a lot of entries and very, very agreeable comments with the results.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things on the Saturday afternoon was seeing the dogs go around the show field because they've been sort of, banned, well, not banned, but barred over recent years, haven't they? But everyone I've seen with them had the short leads and the dogs under control.
I think the owners really took it on board, Simon, to keep their dogs on a lead and away from the livestock. And that was what was worrying the committee, I think, was they were getting too close to the livestock and maybe upsetting them. But I saw nothing untoward at all with the dogs on the show field, and perhaps that'll bring even more people in for another year.
Yeah, there was, of course, the horses, the light horses up in the far end, and that wonderful Shire horses, the heavy horses that were brought over from Ireland as well, wasn't it?
That was a spectacle, that, Simon. And to see at the Grand Parade, you would watch with me, Miss Young Farmer being driven round the ring in that carriage with six in hand. She wasn't driving, of course.
No, I seen her getting lifted up onto it, so that was a sight to behold before we even got going, really. But we're not going to bring you out on the radio.
But it's lovely to see a young person like that leading the Grand Parade out and representing the farming community at that level. It's absolutely super.
But it was just, I thought this year had particularly an interest from younger people on the livestock side of it, instead of just playing with the toys. Well, they were there interested in the sheep.
I think what's happening, Simon, is that the young handlers classes that have now been running for quite a few years is beginning to bear fruit. You know, they've been held at Sulby. You'd see them up under the trees there, or probably on the Friday. Well, now those young handlers are now doing it for real. And it's them that's bringing cattle out now. And the future of this industry on the Isle of Man, I've always said, Simon, I was never perturbed in any way about succession. They're there, ready to take over.
Yeah, and it was marvellous at the end of the show when the final lineup was there, and amongst it Claire Christian with the mare. But that little small horse that was there as well, all the kids loved to see that at the end as well. I think put a lot of smiles on people's faces, even though they didn't win the main prize.
I think what the council can be very proud of is that they provided something for every age range, right from rabbits in the fur and feather tent up to the six in hand for those who wanted to watch a spectacle, and then the very, very high class of livestock for the very critical farmers who were there as well.
Well, you can hear later in the programme the main awards that were presented on the night, and also the Tomorrow Farmer Awards, which were presented on the Friday night, and that was very well attended as well.
It was, Simon, and enthusiastically received.
So listen back to our 2015 look back at the Royal Manx Agricultural Show.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Well, late on the Friday evening, the Tomorrow's Farmer Award was presented. I spoke to the winners on the evening, and also I spoke to the Director of Agriculture at DEFA, Peter McAvoy.
Lots going on across the water with milk prices, and three of the finalists this year involved in the dairy, but young at it.
Yeah, and I think that gives us real confidence for the future. They've all got a handle on their business, all in very different ways. One with a focus on grass production, one on technology, and one on the consumer. But individually, they've all got a handle on the business, and I can see a bright future for them all through rough times and smooth.
Must be go well with the food strategy that DEFA have put in as well, because they all sort of fit different criteria of that as well.
I think that's it. There's no one right answer in what is the right business model going forwards. Focus on consumers, changing the breadth of products that you produce, and just being efficient and top of your game. Any one of those three things or more are enough to make a difference.
And when you hear them talk, and that little bit that they're doing differently than other people, it is possibly the business of between success and just scratching around, basically.
I think so, and that's why having this kind of award is important, because it recognises tomorrow's farmers, obviously, the role models for other people, and these guys are all going to be around for years. Other farmers should go and see what they do and not try and copy it, but at least understand their vision and what their plans are.
And a lot of people watching the awards tonight as well, and I suppose that they'll be passing on knowledge to their families who may be coming into it or thinking of coming into something different, and maybe get some ideas from what these finalists have done.
Yes, it's inspiration, isn't it? You know, these guys are all leaders in what they're doing. Let's say 3 different dairy farmers all doing 3 very different things, so there's not one right template for any new business coming in, but what is clear is these guys are all innovators. They've all got a clear plan.
Well, David Collister, Southampton Farm, congratulations on your award. And it seems like you've been in the farming business forever, but you've won the younger side of it.
Thanks very much, Simon. Yeah, no, I'm only a young fellow, really. Yeah, I haven't really been involved with the farming that long, maybe, well, as a full-time occupation anyway. Yeah, I started up with my brother on the machinery side of things, selling and fixing tractors, and then, yeah, we've developed the dairy business with Judith's mother and father, Colin and Gwen, since that, so we've been very fortunate, and things have moved on at a pace, really.
That must be one of the more satisfying parts of winning an award like this, I suppose, in a way.
Yeah, I suppose so, yes. I've said before, at different times, you come into the industry with no preconceived ideas, and it's a clean slate to start and make your own name, and I suppose that's what we've been striving to do since, really. So yeah, it is very rewarding, yeah.
And obviously Tim won the other award from it, and you know that he was mentioned about his side of it where he's focusing on certain areas, and yours was mentioned about the focusing on, particularly on the grass production as well, to get the most out of that, because obviously that's helping your yields.
Yeah, well, as was mentioned as well, we'd sort of done very well in the British Grassing Society's management competition last year, and yeah, we do focus on our grass, and it's something we are passionate about. It's sustainable, it's the cheapest source of feed, so we're going to keep focusing on it and strive to do better each year. Yeah.
The other thing is that people look around, and when you look at the award winners that's here, Carl Huxon was in there, Brian Rackett, all in a way different individuals, but all got a passion for it, which I think it must help.
Yeah, all different individuals, different businesses, but like you say, share that common passion to produce the best food and strive to supply what the customers want and people are looking for on the island.
Well, we've got all of the Johnson family here today. First of all, congratulations on your Tomorrow's Farmer Award.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a great honour. Thank you. Yeah.
And when you see all the names that have been before on the trophy, of course you'll know a lot of them and think, well, you know, they do a good thing of it, so obviously that's reflected on what yourselves are doing.
Yeah, I suppose you don't always look at your own business that way, and you see others doing really well, and you hope to aspire to that to a certain extent. So you work hard, and it's nice to get recognised. But we know we're one of many who are working very hard and doing just as well. So we're really chuffed. Yeah, really chuffed.
The other thing about it is the publicised thing with what's going on across with the milk and everything, and it's not an easy business at the moment. But will all this help what's going on with the prices in the end, do you think, with all the sort of publicity that it's getting?
I think all publicity is important. It's really important that we get the message out there about Manx agriculture and Manx produce, and getting people to support the meat industry, the dairy industry on the island, because it's a really difficult world market. It's very volatile, and the more we can sell on Ireland, and the more support we get locally, it helps to stabilise the business for everybody. So it's really important.
Turn to you, Maria, as well. You've gone into it as well now. Obviously, been watching Tim in action and doing your own sort of work side of it. But how important has it been for getting somebody with that sort of, and taking nothing away from Timmy, that business side of it, and involved in it in your own work?
Yeah, I think I've we've always worked together, but certainly for me it's been very much on the periphery. I've always hankered to work at home, and we took the plunge a year ago really, and it's taken me quite a while to extract myself from the business, but certainly I think some of the skills that I can bring, having worked in a very different industry, but there's a lot of transferable skills that I've been able to bring that complement the business really, and we're clear where we're heading. I think we work together well as a team.
Not too bad.
we've got complementary skill sets, I think, which is good. So yeah, no, I'm very, very, very honoured to have been awarded this, really, aren't we?
But you do look into the real nitty gritty of the way that you can maybe get a little bit more out of the cows and the land, basically.
Yeah, I think most farmers would say the same. You're constantly striving to improve because there's always plenty of areas you can improve on, and efficiency is really important because things are difficult in the marketplace, and margins are tight, and therefore every little penny you can save, any improvement you can make, matters. And I think one of the things we strive to try and do, of aim to do, is to try and say you need to be that sort of top 25% of in dairy business. And I'm not saying we're there yet, but that's what we're aiming for, and that's what we're trying to do. And if we can do that, then hopefully you can ride the rough times, because I think the general view is that the marketplace, it's going to be very volatile, it's going to be very up and down, and that's the way it's going to be in the future. So you have to sort of thread your way through it. So.
Well, you've got two youngsters here as well. What's your name?
I'm Ben. Ellie.
Now, do you help out on the farm? Are you most of this success that they've won on this trophy?
Well, I think I have to give most credit to parents. They work extremely hard all the day. But yeah, we do contribute every now and then.
What's your main interest in? Do you like the cows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You help out, don't you? Bringing cows in and moving cows and. Hey?
Yeah. Are they always do as they're told, cows, don't they?
No.
No. Well, congratulations anyway on the award.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The 2015 Tomorrow's Farmer Award winner, the Johnson family of Ballavarry in Andreas, and the winners of the Judges Special Award for a young farmer, David Collister of Southampton Farm in Port Sodrick. And also I spoke to the Director of Agriculture at DEFA, Peter McAvoy.
A lot of people took a lot of interest in that, Simon. There was a good crowd to see the presentation.
There was, and also we'll mention, of course, Brian Radcliffe and Carl Huxham, and all. Interesting that there was three, with the troubles from that, which you heard me talking to them about with the dairy incidents at the moment and the milk price in the UK, and yet these ones still have got this positive outlook that they can get somewhere.
But they are totally committed, Simon, so they've got to go forward, and that's what they're doing, and you couldn't wish for a better group of young farmers representing Manx agriculture.
Well, the sun was shining bright and early on the Patrick show field at Knockalo, and John, you were out walking about, and people were a little bit worrying about how soft you'd be underfoot, but grand, wasn't it?
It really was, Simon. When anybody woke up to Saturday morning, it was a day for going to the show, and they did come to the show, a lot of people. And you mentioned the field, Simon. It had that shower on the Wednesday night, but it held up, and it was very, very good. And I caught up with some of the people who were involved in the activities on the show field.
I'm Victor Scott from Northern Ireland, from County Londonderry. We have been invited over to drive the horses, the Clydesdale horses, at the Royal Show. We're driving different classes. We have been out on a 6, a 4, a pair, a single, and we're going out on a unicorn and a 6 and a 4 again. Let the public see the different things that the horses do.
Now, they're a remarkable spectacle, 6 in hand and a carriage behind them in the main ring.
Yes.
It's something very special, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yes. Especially when you get them to go right, and we've been very lucky. They are going quite well for us so far.
And what reaction do you get from the people when they come? Like, you're just unhooking them from the carriage there now. What sort of reaction do you get?
We're getting a very good reaction from the people here. They're enjoying it very much, as far as I can see, and a lot of them coming and talking to us about the horses, and they're really loving it.
Heavy horses are still part of the show field, aren't they?
Oh yes. I mean, the heavy horse, that's our agricultural horse, and they should be part of any show,
Well, my name's Elaine Morley. I'm studying the Floral Art Tent, and we're here because we have the 4 clubs on the island that have competed in this wonderful Floral Art Tent. We're stood, as you know, in the middle of some fabulous flowers and fabulous designs.
But a tremendous standard of floral art on the island.
Absolutely. Oh yes, we can really hold our heads up against those clubs from across the water.
Is there a growing interest in floral art then? Because it's now an integral part of the show here at the Royal Manx and at the Southern District as well.
People do love to see floral art, but what we would like is some more young mums, young people, newly retired people, come and join us in the clubs. And even if they don't know how to flower arrange, they certainly will after a few months.
And is it a social event as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're a friendly bunch.
And you all like being together and doing the one thing?
Absolutely. Yes, you make new friends. What we say is fun, friendship and flowers.
Robert Sale at the firm Feather Marquee. And is this your specialty?
It is, yeah, in the bantams.
So what's the main interest then? What do people look for?
We're looking for a good type and colour and eye and nice feather.
Is it a children's marquee, really?
It is. I like the kids do like it. Yes, and like to stroke them and that.
Are they allowed to touch them?
Oh, they are allowed to stroke them. Yeah.
And will anybody peck or bite?
They can do. They can give you a scratch more than the bite.
Now we also have the judge here. Is he somewhere in the marquee? Is he?
Yeah, he's just over there. He is.
The marquee is one of the busiest on the field.
Is it really?
It is indeed.
Everybody excited about it?
Yeah, and all the exhibits seem to be excited as well.
Yeah. There's some decent stuff really. Some decent stuff. Everybody seems interested in them. All the kids have been following me around, asking all the questions. And
is there a wide interest here in the Isle of Man then in feathered birds?
There seems to be. Yeah, I think it's like you're saying. People get a chance to see all the different varieties, don't they, and different colours and so forth.
Harry, thank you very much
You're
for
welcome.
taking the time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just tell me your name.
Yes.
And what are you looking at here?
Rabbits.
Looking at the rabbits. Have you got rabbits of your own? No. So you come here to see them?
You running around.
You got rabbits?
Yeah, but they run around.
They run around. Right. So is this fella asleep here, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you stroke him? Are you allowed to stroke him?
Stroke him.
Yeah, there he is. Oh, he loves that, doesn't he?
Well there, Simon, what a variety of things for people to come and see and be part of at the Royal Manx.
Yeah, little, big, walking around the show field, wasn't there? And it's always amazing. And we talk about it often, but it is a lovely atmosphere, isn't it? There's plenty to see for everybody, really.
There really is, Simon. People, admire the spectacle of the six in hand and the carriage. And then the little girl with the rabbit in the fur and feather tent. It really is a wide spectrum of things to do and see.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Well, at 4 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon, the Grand Parade started around the main arena. We were there for the results when they were announced, and also we caught up with some of the people who won the prizes.
Well, the third reserve awarded the Silver Cup was the Kerman family's Texel Ewe. The Farm Assured British Beef and Lamb Cut Glass Rose Bowl was awarded to the same sheep in the Supreme Awards, and that again was the Kerman family's Texel Ewe.
The second reserve was awarded the Challenge Trophy, and this year it went to Claire Christian's 3-year-old filly. I caught up with her just as she was leaving the show field with the horses, and she was fairly delighted.
Yes, it's really pleasing to get into the final lineup because horses have a different role in agriculture these days. But yeah, very nice indeed. And it's only her second show, so I'm very pleased with that.
Yeah, and of course the handlers managed to keep order on them today as well.
Well, yeah, she's only been to 2 shows, and she's very apprehensive about cattle. So
is that why there was such a distance between
We were
them?
keeping a fair distance because she was a bit upset by cattle, but she settled down in the end. She was fine.
But I mean, when you look around at that final 6 that were there
Yes.
at the lineup, the little pony as well that had made it
Well,
was
it's
wonderful.
really nice to see horses in there too, because although, agriculture diversifies these days, doesn't it? And quite a lot of people have livery. Farmers have livery, so, it's nice to see the light horses represented there as well.
Tell us a little bit about that one that you had in.
She's a 3-year-old filly that we bred at home. She's by a horse called Hillmore Tom's Choice, and out of a mare that we bred ourselves, out of another very good stallion called Calessi Benedictine, who was a Cawdor Cup winner, which is the absolute target that you aim for if you're a Clydesdale breeder. So she's got a good bloodline.
Is it more of a sort of satisfaction that you managed to breed the horse yourself?
Yes, of course it is. I mean, if you've got the resource, you can buy good horses, but if you haven't got the resource, you've got to try and breed them. So it is very nice to breed something that will win.
Well, they're very satisfied. Claire Christian taking a few days off to show her 3-year-old filly at the Royal Manx Show, winning the Challenge Trophy as well to boot, and that was for the second reserve. And great to see the heavy horse involved in that final lineup and getting a good prize on the day.
And also good to see the light horses there, a wonderful contribution that they make to the show. If you looked out across the show field and saw that scene up on Peel Hill where they were gathered, and then to see them as well considered in the show ring.
Well, that brought us to the first reserve, and they were awarded the Deemster Johnson's Reserve Supreme Championship Award, and it went to Neil Masson and Vicky Sloan Masson's second calver.
Very pleased indeed, yeah, just even to get the Holstein champion and the reserve Holstein champion, and the champion calf yesterday was amazing, but this is even better, thank you.
A lot of prizes, and any different work than other years, Neil?
It's just the same work every year, really. You do the best with the stock that you've got. It starts when you put the semen in the cow and you're thinking of what the calf's going to be like when it's going to be like in 2-3 years time. So yeah, the preparation is not year to year, it's generations. Her mum's here today, this cow. She won a class and she was reserve champion, so we're getting better because the daughters beat the mum.
Can you tell very early on if it's going to be a really good one at a show, or can you never really tell?
There is certain cow families that are always really good at throwing really good stock. So if you pick the best bull that you can and match them up right, there's pretty good guarantee you're going to end up with a good one.
A lot of work goes in. This cow is no more than 3 inches away from me and not even moved a muscle. And that's part and parcel of it as well, training them to stand there and look good as well, isn't it? It is part of it.
Yeah, like I say, it starts a show presence. She shows herself off. She's had a long day today as well. Like, she is tired, but yeah, when she's on song, she's really shows herself off really well.
What's the name of this one?
This one is Carberry Blue Sky Pat, second calver, and her mum was the reserve champion, who's Carberry Voyage Pat, and she's a fourth calver.
Vicky Sloan Masson and Neil Masson talking about their first reserve winner of the Deemster Johnson Reserve Championship Award at this year's Royal Manx Agricultural Show. Well, that brought us to the Supreme Champion, awarded the Deemster Johnson Supreme Championship Award, and the 2015 prize was awarded to Brian Leese's 2-year-old Limousin heifer. I spoke to Brian and also his handler, Richard Krugel.
She's done really good today. She's a bit stroppy this morning in the warm-up, in the ring, in the preliminary round sort of thing, but she's done really well out here today. Just kept settled down nicely too.
What sort of idea do you get yourself of how well they'll do in the ring on the day?
Well, you can't really tell. It's one man's thoughts really. There's, you can have a dairy man who has preference over a beef or sheep or either way a horse. She's a really good heifer, and mother's a really good heifer. Father's a good dad, yeah. She's got the bloodline, she's got the shape, she's a really good heifer.
2 years old, is that sort of in their prime really as heifers?
As a heifer, yeah. She's in calf now, so she'll be due in April time. So hopefully next year she'll come back as a cow and calf. They'll another 2-3 years showing hopefully on her anyway.
What makes her so special in your eyes?
Character in her, I think. Yeah. She's see what I mean?
Just know she's on the radio.
We started walking around the shed for the last few months, getting her on the yard, and she's pulled me a few feet. Like, she's been a handful to get ready, but no, she's done really well. She has.
What's her name?
Ingrid, her name is.
Right.
Wasn't our choice, but Ingrid, she's been named.
Well done today.
Thank you very much.
Brian Leese, well done. We've just spoke to your handler there, and so proud, and just as proud as you are, really.
No, honestly, he's done well. It wasn't for Richard, the heifer wouldn't be here. I'm just the owner, but he's done all the work, all the walking around at night time, getting ready for the show. I'm just great. Something's happened for the heifer, and well done.
It's such a massive prize in the farming community, the Supreme Champion.
It is when you bred it yourself and done a lot of work. It's just over the moon.
What can you do next? I mean, she's in calf now as well. So can she be shown again?
Oh yes, she can get shown now as cow and calf if everything goes all right. You can't tell for another 9 months till to see how the calf starts to develop when the calf is born.
Did you know from a young age it would be a good cow?
No. I only about a year old. When she was a year old, I knew she had a bit of going on then. And the worst part is the poor girl's never been outside. I've kept her in to grow a bit. And every time I've been watching her in the shed, I've said, I've decided around Christmas time that we're going to show her. And touch wood, she's come out good.
Congratulations, we'll let you enjoy the moment. Well done.
Thank you very much indeed, thank you.
A very emotional winner of the 2015 Supreme Champion at the Royal Manx Show, Brian Leese, and also speaking there to the handler on the day, Richard Krugel. And it was just such a popular win. And they also come away with the John Kinraid Cup as well for the highest placed beef animal, either male or female in the Supreme Awards. The PH Philly Kinraid Cup for the best Manx bred animal, and also the Farm Assured British Beef and Lamb Cut Glass Rose Bowl Cup for the highest placed beef animal in the Supreme Awards. So a right hatful for Brian and his team there.
It really was. I mean, he had an armful of trophies going out of the field with his handler leading that very, very fine heifer.
Yeah, certainly was a popular choice of the winner around the packed show ring on the Saturday afternoon anyway. Well, Gordon Clegg, of course, the president, John, you caught up with him after things had settled down slightly to find out how his day had gone.
A big sigh of relief. It's finally over. Been so lucky, so wonderful to have the weather with us, the people with us, the help, the support from the trade stand holders to the spectators, to everybody that's helped through this whole show to make this weekend what it's been, and a wonderful result at the end of it. I'm really made up to see Brian Lease getting that trophy.
The judge who you picked Dennis Quirk.
I did pick Dennis Quirk. I've known Dennis for quite a number of years now, and it was very hard to decide where do you go. There's so many people you know that you could ask who would do it, who wouldn't do it. Dennis has always been a close friend, and I thought he knew his stock, he was good with his stock, and if you'll ever get a fairer, more honest man, Dennis will do his best, whether he's going to fall out with MD or not. He will pick the animal that he thinks deserves it.
Can I congratulate you on heading up a super team this year and pulling off what has been a very, very successful show?
Thank you very much, but I didn't pull it off on my own. There's a full team of volunteers here helping. No one man is any show.
Dennis Quirk, the judge nominated this year to select the supreme champion at the show. Was it a difficult job?
When I looked at them going round on single file at the first, I thought, what am I doing here? And then when they lined up into their proper order, life seemed to get a lot easier. I didn't find it difficult really to put the ones I put up. I just tried to be honest with myself and see what it was. And Brian's heifer, I can't understand how anybody could go past that. I would hesitate that any decent judge would go walk past that at all. And it would have to go there.
Dennis Quirk, well done. A good job, well done.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Well, there, the judge of the Supreme Champion, one of the most onerous jobs on the field that day, and also the president, Gordon Clegg, widely acclaimed as a very, very successful president.
Yeah, it was a good all-round feeling, wasn't there, on that Saturday?
That was entirely summed up, Simon. We were in the tea tent afterwards when Brian Lease actually came in for his tea, and he got a round of applause that went on and on and on. And that was an indication of just how people agreed with all that had happened.
And he was back to normal when he come in without the big official lovely coat on.
When he took his white coat off, it was the real Brian Lease underneath.
It is, yeah. We'll leave you with that thought.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Well, there, we couldn't bring you the smells on the show field, but hopefully we brought you a flavour and the emotions that are so up and down on a show day like that with even people who come away with the main prizes, isn't it, John?
It is, Simon, and it's strange you should mention that we can't bring them the smells. But when I stood by those Clydesdales, the Glebeview Clydesdales, pulling that carriage, I went right back to my childhood when my father had horses. The smell of a horse close up is something that stays with you for a long time.
I know. Just quickly as well, I forgot to mention earlier about you talking to them on the middle of the show field, and the horse got you. Though the cow got you with the spit. Like a llama.
It was worse than a llama. Covered the two of us.
Anyway.
Just objected to being sort of interrupted, I think.
There we go. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's Countryside. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Don't sit in the slow lane. Join the fast lane right now with Shaw's all-new Superfast Plus broadband. Enjoy more bandwidth, amazing speeds and the best value on the island from just £23.95 per month. So don't be left behind. Get a piece of the high-speed action with Superfast Plus broadband from Shaw. For details, visit our stores in Douglas, Ramsey and Port Erin or click shaw.com. Love being Shaw. Terms and conditions apply.